And hello, and welcome to my first episode of a vlog of sorts. And yeah, my name's Tu, and in a sense, I am representing my company in doing this. But well, this is my blog after all, so I'll be doing it in a rather informal way. As you can tell, I'm back home, working from home, so not really quite a studio, but I'm just trying to make do. With a little blind at the back, but even that it can't really cover the whole of my background. As you can tell, I play the piano a little bit. But yes, so what's this vlog about? Well, it's really for people who are just generally interested in two things really: live streaming in general, but also perhaps TriCaster range of products, because that is the main system that I have with me here while doing this whole work from home thing. But yes, just as a general introduction, I work for Macking Domain, and Macking Domain is the main distributor for new tech products in Malaysia and Singapore. So, and it's part of why we are sort of doing this series while everyone's kind of stuck at home, because in a sense we have first the product that is able to do sort of live streams and productions from home base in a remote fashion, but also second of all just a general know-how in how to do sort of these sort of operations. But without further ado, I'm gonna just redirect your attention to what I actually have on the desk, and voila, essentially a pint size workstation ready to do a fair bit of production. And probably gonna give an overview of what I mean by that, but just as a way of introducing to you all the different components of what I have here, I'll just show you sort of a workflow chart. So we'll start with the cameras and video sort of sources on the top left corner. Basically just three main ones. We have the BirdDog P200 PTZ camera. And no, that's not a CCTV camera. It is a production grade PTZ camera that's able to do full HD 60p recordings, or rather capture. And we also have the Observer indoor unit, or a POV camera, which is sort of what is used to capture my whole table. It's a wide angle camera, so pretty nifty on that. And I also have my Surface Pro, outputting a general screen capture into the system. And you notice all of this is linked through, as represented on the chart, a blue arrow. Basically that represents your average network cable, typical Cat5e or maybe even Cat6 cable that's connected to a main switch. And for audio, I have a typical analog setup, which is just a dynamic mic connected to a preamp. And you may be curious about the network video thing, and it is going to be one of the focus subject for perhaps a future episode. But if for those who are curious, I'm essentially connecting all of this through what we call NDI, or Network Device Interface. If you're curious, you can go ahead and read up on it. It's pretty interesting. But just to sort of take you back to the main sort of camera that I have here, I'll just point out what they actually look like. So this is the Mini 4K, the TriCaster Mini 4K that I pointed out, the main brain of the whole operation. And this is sort of an extension, a control surface of which I can sort of do simple switching, as well as loading up different functions at my fingertips. We have the network switch and router right here, with sort of working as the main video hub. We even have the mic preamp right, which is right here, and I have my mic right here. And this is the PTZ camera right here in this corner, and just to give you a bit of a show of what it can do, because it's an interesting little fella. You'll find more and more of these in deployment nowadays in different situations, because it's robotic. You can interface with software and easily save different presets. So what is a PTZ? Point tilt zoom. So what I can do is it can go to specific angles that you saved previously, or you can even control through software with a sort of a virtual joystick, or even if you have like physical units of it, physical unit of a controller, you can even do that. And on software, as you can tell, I can save different angles. And if you are curious how far this thing can zoom, I have a preset saved to my keyboard right at the back there, which you can tell is at a bit of a distance. and voila, zoomed all the way there with no issue, as you can tell, pretty clear. And yeah, so just to bring you back here, well, there you go. That's kind of my setup that I have right here. It took me about an hour to both clear out my previous setup on my work desk and to sort of put all the subsequent things that you see here right now. So yeah, some of you might be wondering at this point, what is a TriCaster? Well, if you've been doing some streams yourself or have been following streamers, you might be aware that there are softwares out there like OBS or maybe even vMix that they use to do their sort of stream work. Well, the TriCaster is sort of the big brother of that, because you find this in deployment for small to medium-sized TV stations, and in fact some of the higher range TriCaster products are actually in different broadcast stations and are being used as their main switcher for their shows. So pretty robust unit, and before I ramble on too much, I'll just bring you to the user interface. Perhaps that's a better way to give you an impression of what I can do. So this is the main user interface. It may look complicated on the first glance, but as with all robust systems, there is a sort of learning curve. With that said, you can kind of tell right on the top left corner, that's kind of where all my video sources are laid out for me. And you can even bring in Skype sources within the machine itself. So I can essentially make a call to up to 2 different users to bring them into my show. This is kind of where the remote aspect of the production comes into play. So you can have guest speakers that you want to bring into your show that are hard to reach, who cannot come perhaps to your own studio or location. They can just simply call in via Skype and you can incorporate them into your show. Take it a step further, get them to set up a green screen on their end with a decent camera, and you can even do Chroma Keying in this system. As you can tell right here, the feature is already inbuilt. And on the bottom of the screen, you can tell it's kind of where I have my media tray laid out for me. And this is kind of where the flexibility of this unit comes into play, because right here on my DDR1, that's kind of where I have all my videos loaded, ready to play. And in fact, I can sort of have it queued or played beforehand. And yeah, you can load in different videos for different productions. Some would want to put in commercials or sponsor videos. It's right there. I can even load in stills, which is kind of where you saw me load in different charts. I can even do lower thirds, which is right here already built into the system. I can change the text if I need to on the fly. And yeah, as you can tell, right at my fingertips is essentially sort of a small size TV station in the form of just a small CPU really, but it's a software and hardware solution that TriCaster is trying to achieve here. But yeah, I can even load in sounds. I forgot to mention, this is kind of where I can load in different playback for music if I have any background music. And I even have a sort of mini audio mixer to have a pretty decent control over all my different audio sources. So as you can tell, it's a pretty comprehensive device at just right on my table. And just to show you again, the size of this thing is in fact smaller than your average PC, not counting the control surface of course. But yeah, that's what I have as a general introduction to my first episode right at home here. So moving forward, what we are expecting to do in the subsequent vlog videos is just perhaps getting more specific, getting more zoomed in into all these different features. And even though it's sort of TriCaster focused, I think a lot of the things that we're going to end up talking about can be applied to across the board to all these different streaming platforms. And so if you're just generally interested in how all these things work together and you are sort of a technical guy yourself, I think it probably would be a pretty interesting thing to do together in just following along with this series. So we can actually, in fact, talk about some of the things that you guys might be interested to talk about. You can leave a comment at the end of this video or on the channel about maybe specific things, tips or tricks that you want to learn from us. We can cover that in fact. And yeah, we're looking to kind of keep all these videos under about 10 minutes, so It should be pretty easy to follow, as a general vlog would usually be like. So yeah, that marks probably the end of my first episode doing this vlog. So if you're interested for more information on products specifically, you in fact can get in touch with our company. I'll probably end with a contact screen so that you can get the information or contact information to contact our company, really. So that's it for me for this episode, and hope to see you next time around. And yeah, bye.